Now,
Yeah, and I feel like that's very important. Like a lot of people compare themselves to others and get upset or jealous, and I've gotten jealous of like my own friends being like, "Fuck, man! Like I do that. Why is he getting this and I'm not getting that?" Like you really have to be comfortable in your own skin, and that your journey is your own journey. And
welcome to the Success Blueprint podcast, where we dive deep into the world of entrepreneurship and success. Join us in uncovering the stories behind the triumphs, challenges, and invaluable lessons learned by today's most inspiring entrepreneurs. From real estate moguls to tech innovators, we explore the secrets to their success and share actionable insights to help you on your own journey. If you're looking to unlock your full potential and achieve your dreams, you're in the right place. Get ready to be inspired, motivated, and empowered to take your own entrepreneurial endeavors to the next level. Welcome to the Success Blueprint, where we go beyond the highlight reel and explore what it really takes to build the life and career that you love. I'm your host, Colleen McKay, and if you have ever laughed your way through TikTok, Instagram, chances are that you've come across my guest today, the hilarious, unapologetic Canadian and wildly relatable Marc-Anthony Sinagoga. From his iconic Uncle Doug impression to no-no skits that feel like every Sunday dinner that you've ever been at, especially the viral one where someone seriously needs to take those chemicals away from no-no, Marc-Anthony has carved out a unique space in comedy that fuses culture, nostalgia, and razor-sharp wit. But today, we're going to go deeper. We're talking about the creative grit behind some of those viral moments, the road to stand-up clubs that sold out to cross-country tours, and how leaning into identity, vulnerability, and authenticity has shaped his growing impact. Marc-Anthony, I am so pumped to have you here, so let's get into it. I think that it's safe to say how you have carved out a very special place in the internet, where people come not just to laugh, but also to really feel seen, especially in Italian culture. Whether it's through your spot-on impressions or your hilarious take on the family life and your little girl, your content really resonates on a deeper level. So let's start with the skit that really took off and had everyone talking, and I'm talking about your no-no skit. It's actually what got me hooked onto you as well, and it really blew up in a huge way. So I want to know, what do you think it was about that character and that moment that just clicked with so many people? I come from a town that is predominantly Italian and Portuguese, so I get it. I'm there. You grew up in Vaughan, so I get it. You know what you're talking about. But it resonates across so many different generations. So what do you think about that character moment?
first of all, thank you for that incredible intro. That was fantastic. I'm speechless. If I ever need a bio made or anything, I'm gonna it's you, you're the one.
Send it to you. You can keep it.
Yeah, please, I'm gonna frame that and put it above my bed, so every time my wife thinks I'm a nobody, she can read it again. I don't know, like I feel like this Nonno character has sort of shaped itself along the way, and sort of, everyone's like, oh my God, what part of Italy is your nonno from? Because he sounds just like mine. I'm like, I've amalgamated all the nonnos in my life over the years into this one, because if you were to meet either of my nonnos, neither of them sound this way.
Okay.
Closest version is my wife's grandfather. He's like he's a widower for the last 20 years and has a garden that's like an acre, and he's like, every tool is homemade. So he really is like, the quintessential nonno. But still, like, I've gone to Italy a bunch, like they're all the same. Even in Portuguese culture, like they all really are the same. Like that whole World War II generation, I call them, they're all exactly the same. So I tried to sort of like, embody that old school Italian guy into one character to try to make sure that it was as relatable as possible.
I loved it. I think it's awesome and very relatable. Like I said, we have our own in-house no-no. And so when I watch it, I'm just like, I send the clips over to them because I'm like, oh, here's a little something here too.
That's hilarious. And they're always probably just like, I don't sound like that. That's not me. They all get upset about it.
Yeah.
That's what my no-no does. I'll show my no-no a video of it, like, I'll show him something he just did. Like a lot of my stuff is like, I'll film it an hour after it happens in real time because I'm like, I have to do this. It's just, I'm going to do exactly what I just saw. Like that garbage disposal bin where Nonno's digging through the big bin is like, he did that. And I was just like, I'm going to do this. And then I showed it to him. He goes, I don't understand what's so funny. Like, that's not me. I'm like, no, it's not you, but like, you did this. He goes, I don't do that shit. That's stupid. I'm like, okay, fair enough. Like, you know. So.
That's hilarious. Well, it was funny. I remember the wine one, and I assume it's your little girl that you got there, but when you're doing the Dumb and John and you're letting her sip, so we have the Dumb and Johns. Like, my father-in-law does the Dumb and Johns too, and he sipped, like, when the babies were just babies, he was like, oh, just a little bit on the gums kind of thing. And my mother-in-law too. Now, my mother-in-law is actually British, but she is the most Italian British woman you'll ever meet. She really, like, she got brought into the Italian culture, and she really embraced it. She speaks some Italian. It's awesome. But it's such a funny thing to see it being mirrored through your character, and I love it. I was gonna say, you have a lot of characters. Like, you're really good at embodying the characters, and the one that I also remember seeing was Uncle Doug. So nice. Doug Ford, yeah, especially like the pandemic times when you're talking about the pandemic and the teenagers and how you're going to whoop them. Like, I loved all of that. It was hilarious. Did he ever connect with you, or did you ever connect with him? Like, has he ever seen that?
He has seen it many times, and he is not a fan. So he's not a fan of the character because obvious reasons. So he reached out, like, we've had a few conversations, and like, I've tried so hard to be like, listen, man, it's all in good fun. His brother used to come to my shows that I used to produce at the Richmond Hill Theater back in the day and would wear my merch. And like, I'm like, dude, listen, it's all in good fun. I'm doing it because, you know, if I was on SNL and SNL was in Toronto, someone would be doing you. So I'm doing you because I think someone should. And I'm exaggerating the crap out of what I think you want to say to people. And that's it. Like, you know, it's all, so let's meet up. The fans would love it. Let's grab a cup, whatever. And he's like, dude, I can't be seen with you. Like, people will think that, like, you know, I'm not doing my job. Because he's like, I can't even go for dinner without people thinking that I'm just like fucking the dog, you know? Yeah. So he's like, maybe one time we will, but I'm not really too interested in doing that. And I was like, I get it. And I have so many people that I know personally that work in his circles. Yeah. So they're always either A, showing him the videos, or B, being like, come on, man, like, people will love it. So it's been a ton of fun.
Yeah, it's a satirical side, right? Like, I mean, listen, if you ever wanted to impersonate me, I would just die laughing because it's funny. You have to be able to laugh at yourself. I do understand being the premier, he's got a lot of pressure. He's got a lot of people that he has to answer to. So I get that. I do understand that aspect to a degree. But also, part of what makes you so relatable is being able to laugh at yourself, you know? Mm-hmm. So hopefully he changes his mind at some point.
That would be unbelievable. I was gonna go to I wasn't in town. You know how he does that, like, public rib fest?
Yes.
Like, he sort of has like his Etobicoke barbecue.
Yeah.
I was gonna go there fully decked out as Doug, but I was not here, which pissed me off. But I'm gonna make it happen. I'm gonna try and find him.
Oh, okay. Well, I am rooting for that. I cannot wait to see it come across on the Instagram feed. Now,
yeah, that'd be great.
I read about you when you were young, and you're just like about 14 years old or so, I think it was. You were doing a camping trip. And I know they've talked about this before because you were talking about how you held everyone's attention. You were just joking and telling stories for like an hour, and like 50 people were laughing until they were crying, which I can imagine as like a 14-year-old boy, that was just like a whole, like, an amazing moment for you. But what part of that moment has played into where you are now? Was it that moment when you were like, oh, my career is in comedy? And also, the other thing that I want to know is, coming from, you know, my small town that I grew up in, I have a lot of friends that I was friends with when I was like 13, 14, and even younger still too. Do any of your friends that were young and laughed and thought you were funny back then, are they still friends with you now?
If I remember correct, I don't know where you heard that about the 14, which is crazy. I say so much shit all the time that I'm like, did I say that? I know exactly when it was. My uncle used to have a yearly camping trip, and he always used to be like, he would just throw shit out at me and be like, okay, do like a Chinese guy going into a convenience store, like, whatever. I would just do it, and I would just have everybody laughing for so long. But I never was like, oh, I'm gonna be a comedian, or now comedy is the road to go down. Mm-hmm. I just never thought of it as like a viable option. And like, you know, coming from an Italian background, where like you have to be doing something that's gonna make money like now, you know. And 90% of my family's in the trades. It's in some way, shape, or form. Outside of my dad, who's sort of like the, hey, you're going to be a doctor or a businessman or something. So like comedy was never even something that I was even thinking about. The class clown thing was happening a lot. So I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm a funny guy in school. I'm a funny guy with my friends. You know, I always do voices and shit. I've been doing that stuff forever. So once I knew it was an option, I was like, maybe I should try this. I went to Seneca College, and there was like a Seneca joint program with York University. Yeah. And I was like, always writing ideas down, like funny sketch ideas. And I was like, man, you know, I love Austin Powers. I would love to do that. I'd love to play a bunch of different people in a movie or something like that. What did he do? You know, I love Jim Carrey. What did he do? And they all went to SNL and Second City and stuff like that. So I was like, how can I make this do that? And then, you know, then I went to Humber, et cetera, and found that route. But yeah, I mean, it was once I did stand up for the first time, I was like, okay, I think this is the way to go for sure. And I felt, you know, I had a nice little synergy moment. I was like, okay, we're going to do this for the rest of our life and just see where this goes, which has been great so far. My friends, I'm pretty much friends with everybody still for the most part since I was a kid. I mean, some of them just aren't comedy goers, really. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. You know, I think that there's a weird stat that it's like, you know, the average person goes to like one comedy show a year, if at all, like, you know. So every time I go to a show, I make sure I tell the host, or if I'm hosting, like, is this your first time at a show? And it's like, it's insane how many people are applauding. So, you know, my friends used to come and support me all the time, and now they'll come to like some bigger moments, but it's very rare. And they're just like, well, yeah, man, I don't go to fucking comedy all the time. Like they don't consume it much. They don't consume a Netflix special or whatever, right? So do they still think I'm funny? I think so. But they also now know what I'm doing. You know what I mean? They know that like I have to cater to what I've built. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, you know, sometimes they're like, oh, like, for example, I don't know if you know my, this is a character that I'm planning on bringing back, but I used to do a little German kid, Jan, a long time ago. I would play like a little German boy character. Yeah. Anyways, I used to do this like little German kid, and one of my buddies was like, man, this is my favorite character. You don't do it. You're just catering to the number stuff, and like, you know, he's not Italian, but he's like, I get it, man. I just, you know, I don't care. So you're like, okay, I get it. So you kind of like, they know that what I'm doing is pleasing a certain audience that has grown into this rather than doing like maybe what I think is the funniest. But I try to explain to a lot of people that like, you kind of like, I lived with my grandparents for a year. That was the first year of my daughter's life. It's like that alone has like 12 hours of material that I'll probably never be able to finish writing. Like, you know, so I can talk about it forever. So like every time someone comes and sees me, they're like, here's another fucking 20 minutes on nonna and nonno, giving a kid something they shouldn't have. You know what I mean? Like I could talk about it for days, but some people are just like, okay, man, we get it, you know? So
yeah, it's
each their own. Like, yeah.
No, I get it. I do get it. And it is good. You are diverse, though. Like, that's part of what makes you so good at comedy. You can do stand-up, you can do the skit comedy, and you can do multiple different characters. Yes, No was what brought me to you as well. But also, when I started watching more of your videos, seeing Uncle Doug, like, there were all these different characters that you have, and the satirical side behind all of them is pure comedy gold. And what's funny is, you know, it's sad that you said how most people only go to like one comedy show a year, if any. I think that the world would be a much better world if people would just go and enjoy it, because I think we can all agree right now we're in different times now. Like, it's crazy times, and to be able to laugh and just release that dopamine is really important. So I think that everybody should be going out, at least, you know, making it at least a quarterly thing to go out and see. You made me think, actually, do you remember the Why You Kick My Dog guy? And then Russell, I'm forgetting his name. Russell Peterson, yes, there, see? So he really got cornered into only being able to more or less do one identity for his comedy. So I think it's good that you are versatile. I think that's a good tap on your back.
I love it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love it.
Now, speaking of versatility, because that's kind of like creativity, everybody hits creative blocks. And because you do content creation and you're talking about how it comes so naturally to you through your own life experiences, I'm sure that you go through ebbs and flows. So when you're not feeling funny or you're not feeling inspired by your external world, what do you do to kind of reconnect with that creativity?
That's an interesting question. because it depends what it's for. Like for stand-up, sometimes, like if I haven't been on stage in a while, I'll get in my head and be like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm not super like amped up to tell any particular joke. Like sometimes something will happen. I'm like, oh man, I can't wait to tell this one on stage. But if that's not the case and you're like, I don't really have anything new to say, and I don't want to say the old stuff or something that I'm not working on at the moment. But I always, there's such a weird way to go about it, but like what have made the best videos is a pain point for somebody or myself. Like in my notes, one of the main things is like, what about this moment got you so angry? Like what a lot of people don't know is like when I was living with my grandparents, yes, beyond grateful that I had a place to stay, had, you know, a baby room set up in our own area in the house because my grandparents only used the basement and stuff. Like it's great that I had that opportunity while able to find a house and, you know, get settled and stuff after moving out of a apartment from the city. But you know, when you live with your grandparents who put the fire on in the summer and don't turn on the air conditioning and like, you know, they just do things that are so infuriating. Or like when they do give your kid espresso at 3 months old and put grappa in their mouth on their gums, like when they do like that, when you're not looking, even when you tell them not to, and you have these conversations, like you want to kill these people. And you're just like, you're my grandparents, I love you, and I'm so grateful, but like, can you not, you know? So like, those moments really used to fire me up. Like, we used to get into real heated arguments. My wife used to be pissed off for days. We'd have to buy fans and portable air conditioners and put them on. Like, the crazy shit in just 1 year is nuts that happened. So like, those moments are what make great comedy out of it, because everybody goes through these pain points, and it's like if you can find a way to laugh about it and tell the story, then it's going to be great to somebody else. So like your pain really is someone else's joy, and that's because they are realizing that they're not the only ones going through the pain as well. So that to me is always something that I'm like, okay, well, what has pissed me off today? Like what really bothered me? What really affected my day? What threw me off kilter? Like, you know, I went to Wonderland, for example, the other day, and well, this is maybe I shouldn't say this, but I'll say a few things about Wonderland. But my wife decided to go to Wonderland on a Sunday and went on to a Costco on Saturday. This was just this past weekend. We argued all weekend because I'm like, why? Like, we have the whole summer. Why did you plan the weekend to go to the two most busiest places on earth? You know? Yeah. And like, I went on stage. Yes, we pissed each other. Well, she was like, well, we've done nothing else to do.
No, but did she do it to get even with you? Because I mean, like, that sounds like I would do something maybe like that to like turn the knife.
Well, she was just like, listen, we bought a season pass. We have to use it. We're free this weekend. Like, let's go. And she's like, who cares? It's busy all the time. It's the summer. I'm like, fair enough. But, you know, Costco is always one of those things where you're like, you always want to go to Costco on the weekend. Let's go at Tuesday at 8 a.m. Who gets, like, you know? She's just like, well, we have nothing to do and we need groceries, so let's just go and tough it out. So I said that on stage, and the amount of people that were just dying that, like, they go through that same every weekend as well. They loved it. So, yeah, it's just crazy how people, like, if you think you're the only one going through something, try telling it to a group of 500 people, because they're all going to be on your side and be like, fuck, thank God I'm not the only one, you know?
I know. And that is what I love about your comedy, too, is you do take the everyday stuff like the Costco. Like, I know exactly the Costco you probably went to, and I have begrudgingly had to do that too. Now, the sweet spot with the Costco, which maybe I shouldn't be saying it out loud, but hey, we're gonna do it anyways, is literally like right before it closes. If you can like get through and get what you need to get, if you go at 8 p.m. on a Tuesday, it's magic. Because Monday is when a lot of people are like, oh, I got to go in and get my stuff. But Tuesday, most people have already done what they need to do. When you start getting into like Wednesday territory, Wednesday's still pretty good, but it's the hump day. So sometimes people are like, oh, I'll get this done now so I can coast the rest of the time. But then Thursday and Friday, especially in the summertime, people are prepping for their weekend. So it's busy because they might be going away. And then Saturday is when everybody's like, well, I work during the week. I need to go on the weekend. So Tuesday, 8. Good time to go.
I went last week to return something, and I went Tuesday when it opened. It opens at, I think, 8 or 9.
Yes.
I was there 30 minutes before it opened. There was a lineup down the wall. I was like, what is this for? To get in? They're like, this is returns. I'm like, you have to. I'm like, what are they dropping a PS6 in there? Like, what are you talking about? You know?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I know. Well, it's because everybody's trying to go before they have to go to work too. 8 p.m. I'm telling you. Try it out. Let me know how it goes.
I totally forgot what your question was. Did I answer what you wanted me to?
Yeah, you totally did. We were talking,
Okay.
Actually, now, you know what? I've even forgotten what it was. But let's
Thank
keep
God.
moving on anyways.
Perfect.
Okay, so you have been, like, you did your clown college when you were at Humber. You built up from there. You're good at doing both skit and stand-up. Early on in your career, you had to do everything like a lot of people, because I look at you like you're an entrepreneur. You've built this for yourself. You're running your own business, right? And you are your business, and comedy is your business. So you had to do everything else. You booked gigs, you were driving yourself, you're selling your merch. What is one piece of advice that you would give to somebody who is just like grinding through that phase right now? Because it is a grind. And oftentimes people come up to spots where they're like, is this all worth it? And I'd say, like, you are at the phase where it is worth it. You're doing good. Like, what would you tell somebody who's grinding still?
That I was in that position not long ago, and that everybody feels the way you feel right now, all the time. Every comedian has imposter syndrome and feels like they don't fit in, or they don't have a group, or they're not, or people in the industry don't like them, or they're getting the short end of the stick. And it just takes one moment for you to just get that, you know what I mean? Like, you're building a snowball for so long, and at some point it tips and starts rolling down the hill, and you just don't know when that moment is, but it will happen. Because I used to be the exact same way, where everybody around me was snowballing, going downhill, flying 100 miles an hour. Like, everyone around me that I was in circles with was going viral. Their pages are blowing up. And then all of a sudden they're getting booked here. They're getting brand deals. Like, it was crazy. And I was like, I don't know why this isn't happening to me. I feel like I'm putting in the same amount of work. I feel like I'm just as funny. I'm just as skilled. What the is going on, you know? And then that pregnancy video where I'm holding my wife's stomach and then she holds mine or whatever. Yeah. That was just on a whim on a Sunday at the worst time that Instagram tells me to post. We filmed it in our hotel in Washington, D.C. while we were on vacation. I actually held that and I was like, oh man, this would be hilarious. Put my phone up against the windowsill as a tripod, filmed it one take, and just put it out. And that was the moment, right? And after that, then it followed with, you know, the no with the baby, and like then the Miss Rachel one. Like, those were all in like the same month, and each one of them are like my 3 best videos ever. And like those 3 videos just compounded, and next thing you know, I blew past 100K, and like I went from like 30K or 21 or something like that to 100 in like a 3-week span. Like, it's just crazy. And like, you know, there's someone like Drew Bain right now. He's a comedian in Toronto, where he went from like less than 10,000K followers to over 100K in like a week, because one video caught and he just kept pumping the same style video, and they were all hilarious. So you just never know. And if you give up, you'll definitely fail. So do yourself a favor and chug along just one more day, and that's it. The next day might be your day, you know?
I love that. Like, with a lot of the coaching that I do, I tell people all the time, success is literally just a formula. A plus B is going to equal C. Might be in 1 week, might be 10 weeks, it might be 10 years, but A plus B equals C. You have to, you know, sometimes change the things that you're doing in between, modify, but you learn from your lessons, the mistakes, and you get there, because it's all about the process on how you get there. Now,
yeah, and I feel like that's very important. Like, a lot of people compare themselves to others and get upset or jealous, and I've gotten jealous of like my own friends being like, fuck man, like I do that, why is he getting this and I'm not getting that? Like, you really have to be comfortable in your own skin, and that your journey is your own journey, and you do things that people don't do. Your life is not like other people's. Like, everybody has something different going on, so to compare yourself to somebody else is just not possible, because someone else is dealing with something that someone else isn't, right? I have a kid, my friends don't, for example. So you just can't compare apples to apples ever. So don't even bother. Just be committed to your own journey of it and enjoy the journey, because they're the best moments. Like, me and Nima say this all the time. Like, we always go on the road, and like we'll do, like, we stayed in this hotel in Niagara Falls where a naked guy was banging on our door at 3:00 in the morning, literally pulling his meat, full-fledged boner, yelling at our door. And we're like, what is happening? Like, we just sold out a venue 3 nights in a row. Like, now, because we booked like late, there was no availabilities. We denied the hotel from the venue. So we were like, whatever. So we had to get a hotel. So it wasn't the greatest spot, obviously.
Yeah, it doesn't sound
But
like
we're
it.
just like, no, it was absolutely. And the best part is in the morning when we told the hotel, because we kept calling front desk and no one answered. Yeah. We're like, guys, what the fuck happened? They were like, oh, that's Brandon. Brandon always does that. He stays here every Saturday. Sorry, we never told you. But like, yeah, we could have told you that was going to happen. We're like, what? Call the police. Like, yeah, it was insane. So it's like, that is the journey. And like, that's just absolutely hilarious. And it was one of the funniest moments of the year. So like, if you're always sitting here fixated on the numbers, the analytics, the followers, the next big thing, or like, I won't be successful, I won't be happy until I sell out this, or until I have this many followers, you're missing the fun, So,
okay,
yeah.
I have an unsolicited suggestion. That could literally become a skit. Oh, that's just Brandon. You could do absolutely outrageous, wild shit, and the comment can always be, oh, that's just Brandon. Don't worry.
Legit.
Sorry we didn't tell you about that, because that is like, that's crazy. And listen, like, I've been to Niagara. I used to dance competitively, and every year our Canadian championship was there. And I remember being little and like seeing things and being like, what is that? Why? So I know it's like a very colorful area, and it can be, but like, that is just probably something that they should have warned you about in advance. Oh, that's just Brandon.
Oh, 100%. Did you ever see my dance videos at Nationals?
No, I have to look this up.
Those went more viral than almost everything I've ever done.
Really? Oh my God,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the no-no is what got me, so maybe that's where my algorithm was like, here's more. But tell me about the Nationals. Tell me about it.
Yeah, so my wife, same thing, grew up competitive dancer. So basically and she knows the people who run I'm going to butcher this, like Terpsichore or Terpsichore, whatever the nationals are, the dance nationals in Niagara every year. So they let me film there because some of my dance videos popped off. I did like,
what kind of dancing is it?
Like that I'm doing?
No, the dancing that she did.
Oh gosh, I don't know. She does a whole of it, like
okay, because I grew up Irish dancing, and
hilarious.
So Irish dancing, when we did it, because it's Gaelic, right? So like, a competition is a feis, and the Canadian championships are literally, oh gosh, now why am I forgetting it? I'm on the spot now. The Oireachtas is the Canadian championships, and the Worlds has another name that I can't even remember, Rinkena something. So like, it's all these crazy names sometimes for each different type of dance. So that's why I was wondering when you had said it.
No,
okay.
not that type of dance. It's more like, dance studios and like, hip hop, jazz, all that.
My dance studio did it too. I just did the Irish side, but yeah.
Hilarious. No, that's great. Yeah, and like, I have a big YouTube video coming out where I play everybody. Like, I have a character that's a dance mom, dancer, and dance studio owner and stuff, and those popped off. So then they were like, hey man, we'd love for you to come and film whatever you want here. So then I did like, dance moms at nationals and all that kind of shit. Now we have a massive one coming out, which should be fun.
I love it. Did you ever see the show Toddlers and Tiaras? I know for some of the people listening. Okay, so when I danced, our dance dresses were like the Toddlers and Tiaras dance dresses. Like, if you ever look up what Irish dancing looks like, especially even now, we would wear these huge wigs, like curly wigs, and huge crowns, and our dance dresses would like show our butt cheeks, and then we would be like dancing, like doing Irish dancing, which is a highly athletic type of dancing.
I've seen it. I've actually seen it. I've seen Irish dancing live.
Oh, very cool. So
it's pretty wild how you guys get your legs so straight and fucking,
I know.
It's nuts.
I used to be very flexible, and now I'm just old and decrepit. But literally, like, that I grew up doing it from the age of 5. I kept going, and then I even taught until about 27. So right in Newmarket, it used to be at the original studio was Bayview and Mulock. Then it moved to Leslie and Gorham, and it's still on Gorham now. It's just a little bit further down. And that was like where half of my life was spent literally because I trained so much. And
what's it called?
It's called the Yvonne Kelly Irish Dance Studio. It used to be called the Irish Dance Studio. Before that, it was I'm forgetting the name because I'm going back like 30 years. Rinkinafara or Rinkiniara is what it used to be called. Yeah, now Yvonne Kelly Dance Studio, an Irish dance studio. Yeah, it was incredible. It was a fun journey, but I am going to be looking out for your videos. Do you physically dance in them?
Yes, my wife really, really laughs at me moving at all. So my wife will choreograph something or be like, hey, do this, do that, jump, she'll make me do stuff. And fuck, I'm like 6'4", 300 and something pounds. Like, I have no business falling and rolling. Like, you know what I mean? Like, especially, I didn't train for that. I was in contact sports my whole life. Like, I don't, So she loves watching me do that. So she basically writes half the stuff. Anyways, we just go to a dance studio. I'm like, what would a teacher say now? And then I just do it, and she loves it. So.
Oh, that's brilliant. Well, if you ever want to impersonate Michael Flatley, let me know, and I will be more than happy to come and help choreograph some stuff.
I don't know what that is, but it's like a form of tap, isn't it? Like, it's like an extreme form of tap.
Very similar. So if you think, like, have you ever seen Riverdance or like seen TV when like Riverdance was huge? Even Disney got into doing Riverdance. That is what Irish dancing is most known for. So that's where like people see like the tap done. But the soft shoe portion of it is like, it's kind of a mix between like ballet discipline, jazz flair, modern movements as well. And even like throw in a little circus there too, because it is just what we now expect Irish dancers to be able to do, physically speaking, is like, oh yeah, you should be able to like do this turn, jump 3 times and get up 10 feet in the air and execute 7 different movements before you hit the ground. And that's basically what Irish dancing is now. Yeah, it's crazy. So yeah, grew up doing that my entire life, so kind of understand it. My mom was great. She wasn't a crazy dance mom, but definitely saw some crazy dance moms in there. And when I taught, dealt with some crazy dance moms too. So yeah. Funny how
I can imagine they are a special breed, which is why I'm like, trying to not put my daughter in dance if I can help it, because the universe with the moms and the studio owners, like, it's just so much. It's so hectic, and like the pressure is crazy, and I don't know. Oh, they put a lot on the kids.
So my 4-year-old is in Irish dancing now. Okay.
Nice.
She just started last year. She has been invited to join the competition team. So I'm like, oh, this is great. But then my brain remembers when I was at the peak of my dance career, I was training 5 to 7 days a week. Like before a major competition, easily 7 days a week. And it was a minimum of 2 hours a day. And it was also additional training too. So on like weekends, I'd be training for like 5 to 7 hours. And I remember, and I'm like, oh my God, like when I did retire from dancing, I did tour a little bit. I made money dancing, on stage and stuff. Not that kind of dancing, but Irish dancing. And so that was great. But like, it wasn't like, oh, suddenly I'm making like hundreds of thousands of dollars from the thing that my parents probably spent hundreds of thousands of dollars helping me get better at. It was, it's a very big financial investment that doesn't return.
Such a funny comedy sketch would be a river dancer who gets into strip dancing, and like, because like a stripper that comes out and like is in stripper garb but like does river dancing like in front of a pole, and like, you know what I mean, would just be so funny. And they're just like, dance, do something. You're like, okay, and you start river dancing, dude.
Well, Michael
just to
Flatley,
watch guys' faces would be hilarious.
He used to always do this one move where I'm not doing the bad move, but he would always do this move where he'd have the one arm out and then one arm like behind him, and then he'd do like this kick turn. Could you imagine like a guy being there thinking he's gonna get like a nice tantalizing show, and then you get someone come out with like a bandana, ready to go Michael Flatley style? I think you should do it 100%.
I don't know who Michael Flatley is, but I'm gonna search this guy.
I know, you gotta look him up. So he is one of the people who really brought Irish dancing to mainstream. Like, he was huge. Him and it was Gene Butler They were the leads for the original Riverdance, and then Michael Flatley went off and made Lord of the Dance, and Riverdance continued forward. But yeah, he's a character himself too. I don't even know.
I'm looking at him now. This is great.
So there you go, some inspiration. Let me know how I can contribute to that. I would be very happy.
That's great. Oh, I'm not light enough on my feet to Riverdance, but I wish, man.
That's part of it. Oh, there was a TikTok thing going on a little while ago, actually, about they were calling it was a gentleman who he was like Little Mr. Twirly Feet, because they were talking about Irish dance. Because when males do Irish dancing, like the Irish dance discipline is your upper body is very rigid and straight, but your legs are like literally flailing. And so when you watch a guy do it, when he's got like the power and moving, it's crazy to watch in a lot of ways. So when people do see men doing it, it's oftentimes very funny received. So I think you even just pretending to do some of those moves could be a really funny skit. You could have somebody you could tap somebody in to execute the crazy things, and then you get to do the running across the stage and the fun Michael Flatley stuff, and then you tap somebody in to do the crazy thing again. Anyway.
No, hey, we should totally do that. If you have a studio that we can film river dancing at, I would totally be down. Give me the costume. We could even do it where like we do the same moves and we just have your legs but my body. You know what I'm saying? Like we split screen it so that it looks like I'm doing it. You know what I mean?
Well, let's do a brainstorming session after. I'm down.
That'd be great. I would totally be down. That'd be hilarious.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so I want to get back into you, because early on in your career, when you were building things up, you probably didn't have the globe to know you were going to make it. But looking back, what is something that you believed, whether it's positive or negative, head trash that you had about either yourself or the comedy business, whatever you want to answer with? What is something that you believed, but now having achieved what you've achieved, your mind has completely changed? Like it's different what you think now.
That's a good question. What do I perceive differently about the comedy industry?
Anything. Open answer, open question. Just what's something that has changed that you thought previously, and now where you're at, your mind's different. You changed it.
Well, firstly, I'd like to thank you for saying now that I've made it, because I don't think that I have. And yeah, I don't know how to answer this. Here's the thing. Comedy is specifically, let's call it my journey here. When I started, every 5 years, there was a pretty big shift, whether it was the internet, social media, all that kind of stuff. And that impacted comedy so much. So you really have to be extremely adaptable, hence COVID, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people just didn't adapt and no longer do comedy anymore, or they didn't use it to their advantage, or they didn't try to find a way to have another creative outlet. So whereas COVID, if it wasn't for COVID, we wouldn't be doing this interview, because I wouldn't have been like, okay, well, what else can I do? How else can I be funny for people? And I turned to social media more. The change that I had was to go all in on social media, because I opened a company, produced shows all over the country and in other countries as well. I was more of like you said, I was more entrepreneurial on the business of comedy and trying to build an infrastructure in comedy that I could play in, because I was never really, there wasn't enough comedy clubs. There wasn't enough shows. And I was like, if I could build more shows, I can do more shows. And I was doing that. And I was like, okay, fuck, I'm trying to run a business and also be my own personal brand. And I thought if I built one, I could build the other. That shifted. And I was like, if I build my personal brand, I can do whatever else I want later. I could fucking make a vodka. I can make a juice box. Doesn't matter. Yeah. And that's what I'm doing now. And so I shifted away from that and more solo focused and more of building the own personal brand as me, the individual, rather than building a company or adding to the infrastructure of comedy or Canadian comedy or whatever. So that was a pretty big shift. And again, I owe that to the pandemic and guys like Nima and Austin and stuff that do content and have changed their lives with it. Strictly content, where I would always be doing content and stand-up and and producing shows and hiring comics to go do other shows. Like, you know what I mean? I was always wearing too many hats.
Yeah.
I still do that now, but it's different in a different way. So yeah, I don't know.
I think that's good. It's good to be able to hone in. But really what resonates right there is being focused on what you do best.
Yes, exactly. And I was like, I'm not a fucking 9-to-5 businessman.
Yeah.
I know what I needed to do. And I was like, and it's funny, there are some comedians or guys that do that now. And I just gave them the blueprint and everything I learned and everything I hired people to do. I was like, hey man, here's everything I've ever done, learned, and have. Here's every list, every email list, every venue in fucking the country that has live entertainment. I have the number to the owner. Here it is, and do what you will. Plan shows, just book me. That's all I want. You know what I mean? So, yeah, definitely. It was a huge shift of focus for me.
That's really helpful too, because that is a way of promoting yourself as well. When you are helpful towards other, I do believe strongly, you have to be careful, but I do believe strongly when you help others, you help yourself. In essence. So when you're helping others, you're really bringing it back on yourself, whether you want to say it's karma, whether you want to say it's just good, you're buying goodwill, you're helping yourself too. So that's awesome. I think that's good. That's the kind of point that you focus on. I
asked my wife if she knows the studio you mentioned.
Yeah.
And she's like, I do not. She's like, but I used to go see Michael Flatley live at Budweiser stage. That's hilarious.
That's a small world. There you go.
Yeah, that's very funny.
Yeah, that's it's honestly the Irish dance community, and I encourage you to look it up if you get a little bit of time later on. The Irish dance community is a wild one. It's like, it's super poshy in some ways, like when you're going to like the worlds and stuff, the women, like everybody dresses like they are on a runway. It's incredible. Like just in the going around, you have no idea if you're sitting next to like a celebrity or if you're sitting next to a dance mom. So it's really cool how that aspect is there, but it's also like pretty salacious. There was some drama that happened a couple of years ago, and it definitely brought the Irish dance community in some ways to a bigger light, in some ways to a negative light. But yeah, it's a wild roller coaster. I mean, when I danced, there was nothing that was evident when you read about what took place. There was nothing that was evident to me back then, but we're going back a long time. The world changes and you know, new things come into different people's purviews. It was quite an interesting little scandal that took place. But yeah, the Irish dance world is just incredible. It's a fun roller coaster to be on. Now,
I love it.
Definitely. I was going to say, speaking of roller coasters, because when, like, whether you're an entrepreneur or, you know, being a comedian, it is a roller coaster financially. So how do you kind of manage like the ups and the downs and the ebbs and the flows? Because sometimes there's going to be a number of opportunities you created, like your family style tour, and then sometimes you may be in a little bit of an ebb. How do you manage that with the ups and the downs? Manage your mindset too.
I'm very grateful that I have supportive people around me, like my wife, for sure. Like when we were living at the condo, this is pre-child, and like it was very wavy. It was like, you know, 1 month I'd make 8,000 to 10,000, and then I wouldn't make any money for like 5 months. You know what I mean? So, you know, and I would always have to be like, okay, well, I'm just going to go into massive amounts of debt and then pay it off, and then like, you know, so that I can still like live and do the things we wanted to do as like a couple, and like, you know, travel and whatever. Definitely having the, like, her take on the load of like a mortgage when I couldn't contribute was huge. And then also like the flexibility of a social network that I had with always being able to find jobs when I needed them.
Yeah.
Like, you know, every uncle I know is in some form of a construction. So like, but that was at the beginning because construction is so taxing on the body. I just couldn't really keep up with it. So I would do kitchen jobs and stuff, and like, you know, I could pop into like any restaurant, work for a couple weeks, collect a shitty paycheck, or work cash jobs and like whatever, make ends meet, and then go on tour again, come back. You know what I mean? So because of the family connections and stuff, like there was always ways to supplement the income if I needed to. Yeah. But At a certain point in my life, I'd say like 2017, I was like getting really annoyed with not going 100% into this. And I was like, you know what? Let's say these kitchen jobs. I think I might give you like almost exact numbers here, but let's say I would get a paycheck every 2 weeks and it'd be like $1,700 from working at like a kitchen. You're like, okay, $1,700 every 2 weeks. Sometimes it would be like $2,200 for the month. You're like, how fucking hard is it for me to make $2,000 a month to be doing exactly what I'm doing now? Yes, that's not enough money for anybody, but if I can make that in comedy, then I'm where I'm at now, and I can stay at home and focus more on getting more money via comedy. So I would just save up a bunch from this kitchen job and then find corporates and started. That's where I kind of shifted the focus then into doing more corporate work and anything with a microphone. I was like, fucking wedding emceeing, town hall meetings, like fuck, you name it. If there's a microphone, I was like, hey, pay me to do it. So, you know, if I land, you know, $300 to $600 gigs, all of a sudden I have Monday through Friday to do nothing or, you know, work and make a go at it. So, that's, I don't know how to conclude these answers.
You're doing great. No, it's about the grind. And honestly, it's such everybody has a different path. Everybody has a different journey. Like you even said when we were talking earlier in this conversation, it's about how we all handle those trials and tribulations. I can guarantee you 80 to 90% of the people who are going to listen to this, they have been through the feast and famine type of scenarios. And for a lot of people thinking about like, do I do the shitty job and continue grinding and exhausting myself for the same amount of money that I would get if I just did this, but I had more time and I focused into it? You know, like this is why people say, when you are good at something, focus in on it and the money follows after, you know?
Absolutely.
That's a pure example of it. So you're doing a great job in answering the questions because it's exactly the answer to the question is you grind and you focus in on what you're good at, and then the money comes and then the success comes. A plus B equals C, right? That's just the reality of it. A plus B equals C. And sometimes it takes a little bit longer to get to C, but you keep doing it and you modify when you need to, and you get there.
It takes so long. Like, now, not for everybody, but like, it pisses me off where some people are like, oh man, so like, you know, you've been doing this for what, like 4 or 5 years? Like, I'm like, what are you, out of your fucking mind, dude? I'm like, I've been doing this since I was 20 years old. Like, I went to Humber at 20. Like, do you know how long that is? I'm 34, like 13 and a half years at this. Like, you know, so when people are like, oh, you haven't paid your dues, you haven't this, I'm like, dude, I've slept in hotels with no doors. Like, you don't understand. You know, in Grand Prairie, Alberta, in February. So, you know what I mean? It's just, it's crazy stuff, man. It's crazy.
But this is the thing, when you think about it, when you think of the greats out there, when you think about when you started to notice them, like the Seinfelds, the Robin Williams, like when you think about even Adam Sandler, like the Happy Gilmore coming out, what was it? It was like 96 when the first one came out, and here we are almost 20 years later and the second one's coming out. Like, it takes time to catch, and you have to, it's the right wave as well. Like the No skit, that really picked up because it was at the right time. So many people, you know, coming out of the pandemic or being in the pandemic, having that direct exposure, either being with their grandparents or not with their grandparents, that feeling the authenticity and the nostalgia behind it, that hooked because everybody was open to it at that time. Just like when I was talking about Russell Simmons and everyone, oh, why you kick my dog? Like that hooked way back. It was like in college when that hooked.
Russell Peters.
Yes, Russell Peters. I'm sorry,
Russell Simmons. That was hilarious. I'm like, who the fuck's Russell Simmons?
Oh,
Russell Simmons. We gotta Google that. Is that a football player? That's probably
no, I think he's a clothing guy. It's either the clothing guy or it might be that body, the guy who does the aerobics.
We're both crazy wrong. He's Def Jam Records, basically.
Oh, sorry, Russell Simmons. My bad. Anyways.
That's so funny, dude. Anyways.
My bad. Anyways, those guys. now I forgot what I was even talking about there. But anyways.
That's totally my fault.
That's okay. Okay, so what I want to ask, what's coming up next for you? Family style, any new projects, goals, wild dreams, gigs that you are hoping to chase? What is on the horizon for you?
Second half of the family style tour in the fall.
Mm-hmm.
Some more long form sketches on YouTube to really showcase like more characters. Season 2 of my podcast in the fall, and just more content, man. I'm starting to streamline things, hire a bit of a team, and more fun with collaborations, and yeah, more touring in the US and in Canada, and then film a special and throw that out on the YouTube channel. So just continuing to expand the brand in the ways I want to do it, and provide more content and on all platforms in every way I can, basically.
I love it. Well, you can definitely count on me for sharing it out to our community as well as my friends and family, because I love
Yeah.
it.
Thank you very much.
No problem. All right, now last question. Looking back on everything, what would be like a message of hope, encouragement, anything along those lines that you would want to share with your daughter, or really anyone who's chasing a dream? Imagining your daughter when she's older, she's starting to chase the dreams that she has deep in her heart, but is kind of feeling discouraged. What kind of advice would you be giving her or anybody? And what's the mindset or the story that keeps you moving forward when things are getting tough?
That's a heavy one.
Yeah, I know.
I think this has helped me out, because some people, I have found out that people are rooting for me that I don't know about. And yes, like yourself, but like, I don't think, and I'm only saying this because it's been told to me, not because I am full of myself in any way here, but like, people are rooting for you to succeed, and they've kind of been counting on you to do it, to show them that it's possible. And like, you don't understand how influential you are and what your actions do and how they can affect other people. And now I'm not saying that you should work for others and be like, oh, do it, because then someone else will think that they can do it because you're doing it. But that is a huge motivator for me. Like, advice period is like, you just can't give up. And that's that. And like, you have to decide to do it 100% forever and enjoy the journey, and you're doing it forever, and you will make it work and you'll figure it out. Because like I said earlier, like, if you give up, then you're for sure not going to make it. So you might as well not do that, right? So, but there's been so many people that have reached out to me with like crazy messages. Like, there was a suicidal individual that was like, hey, I was planning on doing that today, and I got caught in the scroll on the toilet this morning. One of your videos came up, I've never heard of you, and then I ended up just doom scrolling through your page for about an hour, and I like forgot that I had the plan to execute this decision. So you saved my life today. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, it was so crazy to hear that. And I was like, that's unbelievable. And it was very moving. And like, I've gotten many messages like that, and it astounds me every single time. And so many people, like, even when I was renovating my house, so many people were like, hey man, I do this. I'd be happy to, let's, redo your backyard because you made me laugh for free during the pandemic when I was literally ready to give up. And then like just one story, I walked in on a group of people from my high school, like ex-teachers and students, talking about like who they'd like to throw into this like alumni of successful people to talk to students about being successful. And I just stumbled on them talking about me at that time. And I was like, what is this for? And they were like going off about, and I like was getting emotional because I was like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm nobody. And they're like, dude, people who come to this school use you as an example on someone who's going against the grain to try and make it. Like, our whole school is rooting for you to keep going, because then we can be like, look, he did it, and he was just like a fat kid eating Jamaican beef patties at lunch, like not giving a shit about school. Like, you can do it too. Like, if he can, you can, right? So that was just so crazy to me, because the people that they were saying it to were also ex-students that I viewed as more successful or just flat out better people or individuals than myself. And they weren't even thinking about themselves. They're like, no, dude, it's like you. And they named a few other people. I'm like, the fact that I'm even involved in this is crazy. And it's just unbelievable how many people that have come up to me over the years just to say, like, hey, man, like, you inspire me every day to start something of my own and to follow what I'm doing. Because I remember when me and you were 12 and we'd fly kites at the park, and you're like, yeah, man, I'm just doing what I think I should do. I feel like you've got it together more than me. What are you talking about? But that's just not how it's perceived by other people. So you just never know what your actions can do for somebody else. And sometimes that is worth it. And that is the driving force and the motivator for you to keep going, is like, hey, man, if I can make one kid from the GTA think that he can make it, or not work a 9-to-5, or not take over his dad's company or whatever, fuck yeah. All right, let's keep doing what I'm doing then. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's pretty much it.
I love that. That's one of the best answers I've ever had yet. So bravo.
Nice. Thank you.
I've loved chatting with you. This has actually been such an amazing opportunity and experience. I've enjoyed every single second with you. And for our viewers, if you haven't gotten enough of Marc-Anthony, which I hope you haven't, because he is incredible to watch, definitely check out the links in the bios below, the comment sections. You're going to see all the links for his social medias to get to follow. Check out his tour. I absolutely recommend it. I am going to be going and seeing it. And thank you so much, Marc-Anthony, for coming on today. It has meant the world to me, and it has been such a wonderful time to spend with you. I appreciate it very much.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. And yeah, this has been awesome.
Wonderful.
Fucking awesome.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us today, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Take care.
Awesome.